Hello again. So just wanted to get something up here quick for you all. Um, Thank you for tuning in. I want to talk a little bit about insomnia and kind of the repercussions, insomnia as related to the HPA axis. So I'm sure most of you are aware insomnia can be both a symptom of HPA axis dysregulation. It can also be a cause and contributor to HPA axis dysfunction. And so it's related to so many things. And we live in a culture that does not value sleep all that much. I think part of this is as we've gotten away from, the light bulb, electronic devices can keep us awake much longer than historically that used to be the case, of course. So because we have these artificial light sources, that completely affects the secretion of hormones that we have with our sleep-wake cycle. So what happens is the hormone associated most with sleep would be melatonin, but it's also the absence of cortisol that helps you sleep. So those two factors have to be kind of in play with each other. Cortisol, I think I've mentioned before, is secreted in the morning, pretty high, doses to kind of drive you out of bed, give you that energy to kind of get into your day. It is also a stress hormone. So then, if it's secreted throughout the day and later in the day, that's going to affect your sleep. And then when cortisol kind of shuts down, that's when melatonin kind of surges and helps you to wind down and initiate sleep. Now, I'm oversimplifying things because there are other hormones at play. Part of the idea of creating an environment that supports sleep involves the GI as well. If you're more in a fight or flight kind of mode, sympathetic, you're not going to be in parasympathetic. And parasympathetic opposes sympathetic. But parasympathetic, it's the rest and digest kind of thing. So melatonin we want to kind of surge before we go to sleep, and then it kind of keeps secreting some throughout the night, and then basically towards morning it kind of lets up and cortisol surges. So there's this balance between the two. And many of you have probably, melatonin is often used to help when someone has trouble with an insomnia. It can be a great, very gentle thing to try, but it doesn't work in everyone. And part of the reason is I suspect that the reason it works in the people that it does work in is you have lots of things that can affect your melatonin secretion. And so if your melatonin secretion has been decreased due to other things, then oftentimes a little bit of melatonin will help you get to sleep. It doesn't necessarily, it kind of depends on what's going on. If you're having trouble more, not in initiating sleep, but in staying asleep and waking up, then sometimes melatonin doesn't really address that unless you get some kind of extended release form of it. And that can sometimes help. But in general, if you have things that are suppressing your melatonin and decreasing the amount of melatonin that you have, or if you're, say, for example, if you're a shift worker, we know that there are reduced levels of melatonin in shift work because you're swinging between various schedules. That definitely decreases melatonin. And melatonin, it's more than just the thing that helps you induce sleep. It's actually an antioxidant and can help. It's often used naturopathically to support someone who's fighting cancers or in a precancerous kind of state. Usually it's more high dose then. But it is, it's a powerful antioxidant. And so there's an increased risk of cancer in people who actually do shift work and have low levels of melatonin. That increases your cancer risk. So why am I talking about all this as regards to sleep? I don't know. A little bit of a tangent. But it's a great thing. Love it. In terms of re-regulating sleep, I mean, sleep, like I said, sleep connects to so many various things. If you're under stress, of course, that affects your sleep. If you have hypertension and it's unexplained, that's often, it can be related to sleep, and you can actually help decrease blood pressures by getting good sleep. Obesity also correlated with poor sleep, weirdly enough. There are all sorts of course, anything on the mental emotional spectrum. I mean, bipolar disorder, major depression, PTSD, complex PTSD, anything mental health is related to sleep and insomnia. And basically, it's in the DSM in terms of a condition like insomnia on its own, but usually it's related to so many other things. Even relationship stress. If you're not in tune with tension with your partner, very often that can affect your sleep. So that insomnia, yes, it is a beast that I try to tame in my office at times and in my own personal life. So one of the best tips I can give you regarding insomnia, just as a place to start, would be you want to improve quality of sleep. And the number one way to address improving the quality of your sleep is to put emphasis on the timing of your sleep and making sure that throughout the week you go to bed at the same time and wake at the same time. So, I mean, many of us will do the whole, I stayed up late during the week because I was working on this project, and then I had to get up early for work, and then so I went with less sleep, and then by the weekend I want to make it up. Yes, it's a good idea to get enough rest, but it's preferred to go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, and that by itself can dramatically affect the quality of sleep that you get. You will wake more refreshed if you are putting emphasis on going to bed at the same time and waking up at the same time, more or less every day of your life. Okay, that's tip number one. That's all I'm going to throw out for now. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate all your support. I am excited to kind of see the channel build some, and you guys are a part of that. So thanks. Adieu.